Hello, how you doing? I've just come out of the gym and I just wanted to talk about the first signs that I had that I was going through perimenopause. And they were sudden, they weren't really gradual. So this was 9 years ago, roughly 9 years ago. And I was working down in London. I got a busy job. I was a sales manager, and I was on my way to set up a meeting for my team, and it was targets and KPIs and all that kind of stuff. I loved it, absolutely loved that job. So early in the morning, driving round a roundabout in London, and suddenly my heart just started going like the clappers, and my breathing, I just couldn't get control of myself. I had no idea what was happening. It really just came out of nowhere, going around this roundabout. And I wasn't an anxious person, hadn't been an anxious person ever. And I thought, oh, it's just stress. It's just, you're working too hard, it's just stress. And that was it. So that went. Didn't really think anything of it after that. But that, I'd pretty much say that was the first sign of my horrendous perimenopausal journey. Maybe a few months after that, I started to feel dead tired, like proper tired. And at that point, I think I was still sleeping 8 hours a night. I could sleep for England, slept really well. But even though I was sleeping well, in the day, sometimes I'd just suddenly go really tired, like dead tired, that I just want to lie down. And again, I thought, it's just stress, it's exhaustion. You know, you're working too many hours, too stressful. No, I didn't feel stressed. I think I never felt stressed at all in my career. But that's what I put it down to. There was no thought that it could be perimenopause. So the tiredness started. That didn't go away. That just gradually got worse and worse. So at that point I thought, I've got to go to the doctors. I'm lacking in something. So I went to the doctors. They did all the tests, all the blood tests, asked about my general health, which I'd had no issues with. And they just gave me some vitamin D. They said, there's nothing wrong with you. Can't find anything wrong with you. All your tests are fine. Your vitamin D looks a bit low. So take that, come back in, I can't even remember, a few weeks maybe. But it didn't do anything. And then the anxiety started to creep in. It was awful. It was debilitating. I was shaking most of the time. And it got to a point where I didn't want to go out. If I was having to go out somewhere, I'd start getting really panicky, really anxious. Couldn't go anywhere on my own. Yeah, it was shocking. I used to love going places on my own. I do now, you know, having a little bit of peace and quiet. But at that time, I couldn't go anywhere on my own. Yeah, that was awful. That was really bad. It got that bad. I'm trying to think of the sequence of everything. I won a trip to Sicily with my job, and at that point I was feeling really poorly. Just, I don't know how I managed to stay in a hotel at the airport the night before and get on the plane. I still remember the feeling of shaking, going on the escalator, going up to the plane. Couldn't eat. I lost lots of weight. Couldn't eat. I don't know whether anybody noticed at that point. God, I was such a mess. I felt awful, awful. And then got there, and the one night we were going to go out for a meal. We were walking up this road, and I said, I've got to go back to the hotel. I said, I feel really ill. So got back to the hotel, and I had a full-blown panic attack. And I didn't know what it was. So your heart's beating out your chest, you're shaking, you're panicking, you feel sick. Unless somebody explains it to you, you don't know what it is. I phoned my hubby back in England saying, there's something wrong with me, I don't know what's the matter. So he was worried. And I do remember trying some meditation music to try and calm me down. But then I found two of the girls I was working with, and they came back to the hotel and they said, you're having a panic attack. It's okay, you're having a panic attack. So I think they were getting me to do star jumps and all sorts just to take my mind off it. Yeah, they were great. They were great. And the next day, I spoke to my boss and said, I think I need some time off just to get this sorted. I don't know what it is, but I can't function properly. And he was great. He said, you know, how long do you need? I said, I don't know, a couple of weeks. I mean, how long's a piece of string? I don't know, a couple of weeks. So I went to the doctors and they put me on sertraline. I mean, Christ, that in itself. They don't, I mean, I suppose it does say in the instructions, but the night I took the sertraline, my symptoms were terrible. I was getting really panicky. My heart was beating super fast. That's obviously just side effects of the tablets getting into your system. But they did help enough for me to go back to work, just to calm that anxiety down, that stop that feeling sick constantly. You know, that feeling in the pit of your stomach. And I went back to work, but to be honest, it was too soon. It was too soon. I then had to have a bit more time off work just to rest and just get my head around it. At that point, I didn't even think it was perimenopause either. Stress. I still put it down to stress. Yeah, and unfortunately, got made redundant because of my absence. I didn't get made redundant because of my absence, but that obviously put my score up. So there was nothing like, we can see you're having issues. I mean, maybe if I'd been able to say it's perimenopause, but the doctor just puts it as stress on your fit note, doesn't he? So yeah, fortunately I scored really really high for absence, just because of the two instances I had off. I hadn't had any other time off at all that I can remember, or very minimal in 12 years. But yeah, got made redundant after that, so that was tough. But I came off the sertraline because I thought, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, if you need it, there's nothing wrong with you being on it, but I'm not great at taking pills. And I didn't want to be on pills forever, you know, with the side effects and that. And I was thinking, I don't want to be on it. So I did wean myself off it. There have been a couple of occasions in the last, 8 years of not being on it that I thought, perhaps I need to take it again. And I think I did. Maybe year 7, I think I did take it for maybe 6 months, but after that I haven't. But if I felt bad enough, I would go back to the doctors and go back on it, because it does mean that you can live without the fear of going outside. So I can see why it helps people, but I've had to try and deal with the anxiety in different ways. My anxiety is not as bad, whether that's because I know what it is. So I think it's just the last so many years reading up on everything and talking to other people who've had anxiety after they started perimenopause, it's then like a light bulb moment. This is what it is. And I think once you know, that helps. It gives you a bit of comfort that you know what it is. It's not knowing, which is the worst thing. You think it's all kind of things, don't you? So yeah, it's just been dealing with the symptoms for the last, 9 years. So I was really, really poorly, lost lots of weight. Oh, very anxious. And I still get those anxious moments. I still feel sick some of the time, which, it can be high cortisol, isn't it, because of the menopause. I've tried lots of things, and I do a lot of listen to meditation videos on YouTube. I've tried tapping. That really helps. So I've tried to help myself with the anxiety part. I think the worst part for me over the last year is the joint aching and the stiffness and the pain you get. And like I said, my job is really physical. So you're on your feet for 8 hours a day. And I get home and I'm like an old lady. I'm like crawling around like an old lady. But if I have a good night's sleep, then that helps massively. So that's the start of how it happened. It's 9 years is a long time to feel shit, isn't it? Really is a long time, but you do sort of learn to deal with it, and talking about it does helps massively, which is why I think more people should talk about it. So day off today. I've just been to the gym. I felt like it, so I've just been and done some weights for half an hour. I had a lovely morning with my granddaughter and my her auntie Fran. We normally take her out for the morning. I take her to Greg's for a sausage roll, and then walk around the park, show her the flowers and the birds, which she loves. And then we play lots of music. So we've been playing her Nickelback today, teaching her the words to Skinny Little Missy. Oh, yeah, we do have a good time. I love Nana time. And my youngest daughter, we do have a laugh, such a laugh together. She's proper funny. So yeah, you've got to take the good with the bad. And there are a lot of good things. You got to make sure you're doing them. So even if it's just something little, like getting yourself a cup of coffee, sitting by some trees. I'll often just drive to a park and go and sit by some trees. And people can think you're as mad as you want, but we know that it's good for you to be out in nature. It can make you feel a whole lot better. Get your feet on the grass, get some grounding in. Think about what you can do to make yourself feel better. So yeah, I feel good today. Been to the gym, had some nice family time. Sat with my hubby before he went to work. Went and had a coffee with him, had a chat. Not about the menopause. God, he's probably sick to death of hearing about it. For 9 years, he's so good though. Sometimes you just want a cuddle, don't you? You just need a hug. You don't necessarily need to talk about it. You just need a hug. So, yeah, that's my first experience of perimenopause and the symptoms. I'll do another video on all the weird and wonderful symptoms, but I think if you're experiencing some weird symptoms and you're really worried about it, I hope this video helps, so you don't think you're going doolally. But obviously get yourself to the doctors. Just get yourself to the doctors to get checked out. But if you are at that age, so 40 plus, if you are at that age, it could be perimenopause. Yeah, just look after yourself. And you have to think of yourself. You know, self-care is so important. I know we have to rush around doing everything, working, family and all that, but you've got to look after yourself, because you're no good to anybody if you don't. Right, that's me. I'm going home now. I've had a good sesh at the gym. So I'm going to go home and watch Who Dares Wins SAS with my youngest. Because we have to. Yeah, we have to imagine that we could actually go on the assault course. Just because it cheers us up. Right, I'm off. Hope you're all okay. See you soon.